Hello, ARC family. Welcome to the ARC journey. Today, we're talking about the amazing, incredible truck stop ministry and the amazing coalition that Mark has been able to draw together for this ministry. I think it is the power and the impact of this ministry that has drawn so many people together. And wait till you hear the stories. So I want to ask Mark, if you would introduce to us Christopher Navita from Highway Ministries. Can you introduce him to us, and then we're going to hear him share the vision for this kind of a ministry, the need, vision. Yep.
Yes. Well, I would say all of these introduction and pretty much all these people around this table, and including Tim, it was really, or Chris, it was really a providential meeting.
Amen.
We came together providentially through just various relationships and connections, and Chris came to me, connected to me through Gilbert Thurston from
Oh,
our
yeah.
residential church out in Harrisburg, and he saw something I posted on the Facebook about starting a truck stop ministry. So he asked me if he could share a name of a friend, and this was Chris. And so, and he brings the expertise. I don't know anything about truck stop ministry much. I know stuff about people and lost people, but so I'll let him introduce himself and who he is and who he represents. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep.
You have the floor, Christopher.
Thanks, Philip. My name is Christopher Navetta. I am the director of Highway Ministries. Highway Ministries has been around under the umbrella of Way of Truth Ministries for 25 years. Now, Highway Ministries is basically what it says. We are out on the highways of primarily Pennsylvania right now, reaching out to the truck drivers of the country. And basically, to give you an overview, the trucking industry is 3.5 million drivers strong. These are individuals, men and women, that about 1.5 million are long haul heavy truck drivers, 2 million that are regional drivers. And from that standpoint, the long haul drivers, primarily the 1.5 million, are individuals that are out on the road for weeks or months at a time. These are individuals that come through our backyards on a daily basis. These are people that are probably one of the largest groups in America that are unchurched, unreached, because they don't have a home church. They don't have time to reach home or have a weekly ability to get to their church. So what we do is we provide that service for them. We provide that opportunity for them to actually have a place of worship, to have a connection with a Christian family. We go out to the truck stops definitely on a weekly basis. And for a lot of the truck stops, we try and provide Bible studies during the week as well. The opportunity for these drivers to connect with somebody. And one of the biggest things we find is they are just looking for somebody who they can sit down with, who they can talk with, who they can unburden themselves, unburden their heart, and just lay what they've been experiencing for a month or 2 months or whatever the time frame that they've been out on the road. Somebody to listen to. And that's one of the biggest things. And like I said, we are talking about a group of people that are 3 million strong out there, 3.5 million strong. And when we expand that, when we take that population and then we talk about who they connect with, their families, the warehouse people, the truck stop personnel, the trucking industry expands to a group of over 10 million people. Now, when we take that idea of 10 million people, that is larger than most countries that we send missionaries out into. So think about this. We send people, missionaries, out into countries and support those individuals. Meantime, we have truck stops that sit in our backyards, and all we ask is for people to stand a post in those truck stops and be available for the individuals who come into our backyards every day, to be there faithfully, to reach out to these individuals, to listen to them, to try and reach them for Christ, to show them that they are not alone, that God is there with them faithfully, that Jesus Christ is there to listen to them, to be next to them, to be next to them in that truck when they think they're alone, that God is actually sitting in that seat next to them, and that they're not alone for a month at a time. And we place these chapels. For us in Pennsylvania, we have a chapel starting here in Barkeyville. We have a chapel in Clearfield. We have a chapel in Lamar. We have a chapel in Buckhorn. Those are along Route 80. And then we have a chapel in Harrisburg, coming down 81. And we have two chaplains currently located in Florida that we are trying to open. We have right now, just in the beginning steps, that we're opening a chapel in Florida. So this becomes, hopefully, prayerfully, we'll be starting a nationwide program. And we also have chapels located in India and in Ghana at the moment. So it is a worldwide reach. And we are seeing huge progress overseas. Now, as for Way of Truth Ministries, which is the umbrella that we're under, we have a radio station ministry, we have a military ministry, a Bible camp ministry, and I know I'm forgetting one or two of them, but there's multiple ministries that fall under that umbrella, and that is why we're partnering with the churches here to grow this ministry in Barkeyville. And that is ultimately the goal. It's to reach drivers for Christ right where they stand as they travel through the United States and come into your backyard. That is ultimately our goal, is for us to be there to meet their need. Yes, Phil.
You shared with me why Barkeyville, why this area?
Yeah, Barkeyville is going to be, it's a perfect location. It's on 80, it's close to 79. That is a north-south route between Erie and Pittsburgh. 80, east-west primary route coming out of Ohio, running all the way through Pennsylvania into the corridor for New York. Going north-south on 81. It is one of the most traveled interstates coming through Pennsylvania. East of the Mississippi, 2/3 of the population of the United States is located. We are in one of the best corridors, the highest traveled trucking area in the United States. We can't ask for a much better area to concentrate the chapels. It just is.
Yeah, so this is literally the conduit for the nation to get to New York, and New York to get to the nation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
80, 81, two of the highest traveled routes that we can ask for. And again, where Barkeyville is, you're adding a northwest feeder as well, or a north-south feeder as well. So really, you're hitting everything that you need from a trucking standpoint. And Barkeyville, not only do you have the TA, but there are two other truck stops right in the location. And one of the things that happens is TA is really good about advertising on their website. Once a chapel is established, they put out on their website the chapel services are available. A lot of drivers, the Christian drivers, look for that. So the guys, the men and women that are already Christians, that are looking for that Christian support, will look for chapel services, and they will plan their routes around stopping at truck stops that have that available. So they will be looking for that, and then prayerfully they spread that word, and they help to bring the gospel to the world as well.
Amazing. Now, you shared with me some things that you've seen in this ministry, and there were a couple that particularly stood out, but I'm not going to call you on those. If you could just share with them one or two particular things that you've seen in this ministry that have impacted others and yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been doing trucking ministry for 13, almost 14 years now, personally. And I was in trucking for almost 35 years total between ministry and as a driver and in management. Uh, but I've been blessed to see a number of people find the Lord uh, while they've been out on the road, searching for God in their time. And I've just been blessed. God has, we don't do the saving. God does the saving. And I've been blessed to see that happen and be a part of that. But I've also been blessed, unfortunately, part of trucking, and we've all heard it in the news, human trafficking has been a huge part. And I've been blessed to be a part of actually involved in saving uh, a, a woman from the human trucking aspect of it, because it does happen. And she had been taken, shall we say, captive, more or less, in a truck. And I was involved in a rescue uh, in one instance. And thank God that I was there at that point. And again, it's one of those things, by being faithful and being available, God uses us in those situations. We've seen people come to Christ on the truck stop. Um, I was involved with a gentleman that, in one of his lowest points in life, was thinking about taking his own life. And one of the truck stop personnel called me in the middle of the night. And again, I'm blessed to only live 10 minutes from the truck stop. And I came in, actually, my wife came with me in the middle of the night, and we sat with the man. And I'm a biblical counselor. So again, it's a blessing um, from that perspective. We sat with the man for the night. I was able to get his company, his trucking company, on the phone. We spoke with them. I remained with him through the night. We got his pastor on the line. We got his family on the phone. And the next day, after he got a little sleep in the chapel, we were able to actually talk him all the way home. He lived in Canada. We were able to talk him all the way home. We got his company to give him a week of personal leave off. His pastor started doing some counseling with him once he got home, and it was very successful. Uh, he got home, he got the help he needed. Um, and again, it's just because we were there, we were available, and God was with us. And again, it's just from being faithful and available, and answering the call. And that's all that we can ask of you, is to be available to answer the call.
That's fantastic. Thank you. You said this before. It just really struck me this time, and I think this may make it into my vocabulary. But manning the outposts, we can make a
Absolutely.
difference by just manning the outposts. Um,
Yeah, I
I think I'm gonna be quoting you.
think it's in Ezekiel that he says that he's looking for a man to fill the gap in the
Yeah.
wall, if I'm not mistaken. Is that Ezekiel? I think it is. I could look it up, but
Nehemiah,
I'll look it up and I'll get back to you.
Okay. So, Mark, we have also with us, you have with you Steve Bright from the Christian Motorcycle Association, and I'd love to hear their impact and presence in this ministry. So you can introduce.
Yeah, you've heard from Steve. Maybe we'll let Art, Tariki. I know
Oh, sure.
that from the Castlewood Alliance Church, and then we could hear from Ken. Could have something to say too from the CMA. You want to go ahead, Art?
Sure. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. I'm just a member of the Christian Motorcyclists Association, the same as Steve. We attend the same chapter. And we do a lot of motorcycle ministry. We go what we call taking it to the streets. It's a little different concept than having a chapel situation, but we're adaptable. And we go out to bike blessings, to bike rallies, any place that there are motorcyclists, and that's our ministry field. Although we minister where we stand, and we've seen healings and people giving their life to Christ, and that's the kind of thing that we live for. And we just recently
Art went mute.
How about now? No?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. All right. And we recently, September 29th, we had a meeting here at the TA truck stop. And it was more, since there were mostly CMAs there, we had a CMA type meeting where we approached truck drivers. We blessed their trucks. We prayed with an old man who has terminal cancer. And it was a rainy, miserable afternoon, but God bless us nonetheless. And, you know, I'll let somebody else talk about this now. But I feel that this is going to be a real blessing.
That's amazing. Thank you, Art.
Hey, I'm Ken Noble Spees. I belong to the CMA with Art and Steve. I really enjoyed being there with the truckers and that. You know, we've got to stand out to be the beacon in the dark for these people. We need to talk when we talk with them. We need to make them feel like they are family to us. And you do the same thing with the motorcycle. If you get them like you're feeling they are family. And then you know, talk with them, give them Bibles, do whatever we need to do with them. And I think it's great that we can get with them, because if we set the tone in their mind that, hey, these people are family to us and want to be family with us, and we don't care who they are, where they're from. We want to get them in with the brothers and sisters of Jesus Christ, and do it that way. And I enjoy saying it, because we had people up here when we did the thing with Art was talking about. They were picking up Spanish Bibles and taking them home. We had cider and everything for them. And it was like, okay, how much do I owe? Or want a donation?" And we said, "Oh no, this is free, man. Take it." And I mean, the smile on their face was it says it all. And what a blessing. It blesses. I think sometimes these things bless me or the rest of the people here, maybe more than what the guys get. And we don't care, like I said, man, woman, we don't care. And if they have a need or a care, we're there to pray for it. I can't tell you how many different things I have prayed for through these motorcycle people. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get to know them, and we don't have a lot of time to get to know them well enough or see them again. But most of the time in the motorcycle world, we may not see some of these people for a year and a half, 2 years, it depends. But you make the contact like that, when they come back, they'll come over and say, "Hey, you remember talking to me 2 years ago?" Yes. So, you really plant the stuff. We plant the seed, somebody can water, somebody can harvest. Or somebody will maybe water 2 or 3 times, before they take the advantage of it, and it really sinks into them. So that's kind of what I think. I think it's going to be a really good ministry. We need to get to the people of the world, whether they're, a motorcyclist, truckers. We need to get to them.
Yep. Thanks, Dick. Okay, whoops, Phil, we have John Dittman from the Barkeyville, the old Hickory Grove. And he's the one that provided the cider press for the event. So he's one from one of our churches. You want to say something?
Just basically, it's a privilege working with these people in the different areas that we come from. And I'll speak out of context of Mark. Mark and I have done this before, and it is really exciting. The energy and the time and meeting people, these people at the table or the buckets out there, and the reception there's definitely the vacuum out there. And I think Barkeyville is really the place that's going to happen next for the Church of God.
Awesome.
Thank you. How about you, Vicky? You were there that day. So we can see you there. This is Vicky from the Kennerdale Church of God. She was there the day we did the blessing of the truck and the gave out the cider.
As has been stated, this really touches my heart. My dad was an over-the-road truck driver, and he experienced some depression from the war. And he come home one night, got into his whiskey, got his gun, and shot himself. But he lived. He lived by the grace of God, the prayers of a Christian wife, Christian family. So this really hits my heart. And yes, it is definitely a ministry that is needed in our area. And I'd be glad to be a part of it.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
How about you, Ed? Would you like to say anything?
Yeah, my name's Ed, and this is my first meeting, although I had met Mark prior to this. And I started driving truck about 75, and I still drive some, only not over the road anymore. But I'll tell you, if you want to pray for something for truck drivers, that'd be a blessing for everyone you see. Pray that they're able to stay awake.
Yep.
Because in all my driving, that was the hardest thing. Because after you've been out on the road for a long time, hard to stay awake. So before they leave, say, I'm praying for you to stay awake while you're driving. The bad things happen when you go to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You never know where you're going to wind up.
Thanks. We're glad you're here.
Yeah.
I just want to say, Phil, I know we're way over your time. I don't know how you're going to do all this.
It's going to be fine.
This has been a process going on for over a year. And it started with a conversation I had with Pastor Jeff Harris, who was involved in truck stop ministry at TNA in particular. And my brain started rolling, and I talked to him about it, and we decided to come up here to the TNA, talk to the manager, because I thought it'd be a great ministry for our churches in the Allegheny region, the Northern District, to kind of help them do something missional, give them an opportunity to do something missional like that. And the permission came from the management over a period of time, not because there was resistance. I just think the communication, but TNA said yes. And that's what got the ball rolling. And we started some services. It didn't go well. And then all of a sudden, I met Art at our church from the CMA. That one thing led to another. And then the Lord brought Gilbert Thurston to me through and Chris. And so now that little mustard seed is starting to grow. And we have Grove City Ministerium supporting us. We have some churches in the community. So we've come a long way in a short period of time. And we're really glad to have Chris with us. And we're planning on kicking off the official service Sunday morning in that theater at TNA, November 17th. And it's going to be a short service. And we're going to be rotating and taking turns each Sunday. So it's not on the same person all the time. So that's what we're going to do now. Now we're going to have our meeting here.
So how can a church in let's say Alverton, how could the Center Bethel Church be able to partner? How could Lilyville be able to partner with this ministry?
Number one is really put it in front of the people for prayer.
Amen.
I'm willing to come down and talk to any of the churches to share with what we're doing, whether it's 5 minutes or 25 minutes, whatever they want to give me. Lilyville has supported us financially, and also the children's ministry colored some thank you trucker coloring pages. We put in bags the day we gave out the cider, and so there's different ways, but number one is the prayer, and maybe you can get to a point where the financial, even though we've been getting some contributions to do some things, but those are the best ways. Number one is to keep it in front of the people to pray for it. Oh, we got a Facebook site. I started a Facebook site too, and it's called Barkeyville TNA Truck Chaplain Ministry. I think it's called something like that. But look for Barkeyville TNA Truck Stop Ministry and find it. So I just put that up a couple of weeks ago.
Well, thank you so much for all of you, for all of the time that you've dedicated. I really think this could be, I think this could be a great opportunity, Pastor, for you to be able to bring along people and disciple them. This is going to be an incredible discipleship opportunity to have people join you in this ministry. And so the people you're discipling, bring them to the truck stop and allow them to see and get involved in ministry. They will grow so much. The second thing is I think I really would like to know or advertise, Christopher, when you get the opportunity or schedule or able to schedule some kind of a training event. I think I would like to see this opened up to be able to allow some of our pastors or potential people to join. And who knows that this can't even expand other places.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Oh, and by the way, manning the outposts is a Christopher quote, but it comes from Ezekiel 22:30. So thank you so much for finding that for us, Christopher. I want to say God's blessing on all of you. I am so excited to hear and see what God is going to do out of this ministry and the lives that it will touch. It's going to be people that we can't even imagine in ways that we will never probably know this side of heaven. So thank you so much for your commitment, the coalition coming together to do this. And I can't wait for the good news. Go in God's blessings. And the rest of you, keep shining. Thank you. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.